Hi, and welcome back to my channel. We're playing Cities Skylines II, and today we will continue the cleanup, I might say, after the big move where we moved the industrial area over to a completely different town or different part of town. If you are new to my channel, you might not know, but this is the city of Springville. I have been playing it for some episodes that you might catch up on if you look at the other episodes I have out here with the City Skylines. And I'm a City Skylines player. I'm quite new to the game. I tend to do not plan out my cities ahead, and that has led me to mm, have to do some big changes in this town due to misplacement or bad placement of some of the parts of the city. But in this episode, we will mostly focus on cleaning up the mess I made when I changed the entire city around. I did not change the entire city, but you will see traces of where I have placed the industrial area earlier because the ground pollution is making me have large red patches in my game where I can place down residential buildings. And also, I will try to expand some on the residential areas and also try to grow the urban area where I have previously had the industrial area. So this is quite an interesting episode, I think, because it involves a lot of things that has to be done. Such a big change that I made in the previous episode requires that you also provide the new area with the transportation, like the buses, the posts, and the telecom, and all of the other services that is around town. So this is an episode where I will make a lot of stuff happen. And as you can see, I still have some of the industry remaining here. My goal will also be to get that entirely cleared up so that there is no residential, no industrial factories and stuff in this area. The ground is so heavily polluted that this area will just be an area where I can have commercial and office buildings for quite a while. But what I wanted to try out was placing down many trees in one of those areas or the squares that I have made, just to see if the trees will make the ground pollution disappear faster. And if that does anything, I might have this as a tree area for a while before I build up more here. So that is one of my plans. And actually, when I had placed down all the trees in this square, I noticed that that was not actually one of the squares that had the most ground pollution. So I figured out I would just place some more trees over in the larger square where there is more pollution all over the place, just to be able to see the effect of the trees if they do at all have an effect on the ground pollution. I actually highly doubt that the trees will have any effect, but we'll see. It's just a fun way to make something in the areas as the demand also for commercial and office buildings aren't that high. I think maybe commercial is quite high right now, but I have other plans for the commercial area than placing it over here. So I will have to do some experimenting in this game to see how this ends up. But as I said, I still had some of the industrial buildings in the old industrial area. So I also had to figure out where to place down more industrial zoning just so I can fill the demand for that type of buildings and not have to have them in want other buildings to be, because that was the main goal for the transformation I did, to remove all of the industrial area. But it was quite a large patch I had with the industrial area. And for those of you who have seen my previous videos, I don't like the industrial areas that much. So my my mission with placing it in the where I placed it was just to get it kind of out of the way, I guess, but not so that it's not a okay area, I guess. And I also talked about that I wanted the area to still have traces of it being a beautiful, lush place, but also that you can see in the area that this area has been transformed to now to what it is now, just a big lump of industry in one place. And I also wanted to make more room for the wood industry, chopping down trees just so that I can make wood and make paper eventually. And yeah, it's coming along quite okay, I would say, this area. I guess I would also want to make another area. I have talked about it previously with the farms and stuff, but I kind of I'll let you in on that, because I have decided and undecided and been confused about the whole farming shebang, I would say. Um, just because the place where there is fertile land on the map right now, it's kind of in not my favorite place. So yeah, I'll show you, but not right now. Also, I would like to say I'm sorry for the late arrival of this episode. I used to get out one episode of the City Skylines each day. Something happened. My life happened, and it's quite a hard thing that has happened. And you might hear it in the energy of my voice. I have no energy. I have no. Yeah, I'm really struggling right now, but I wanted to make one more just to see if this can make my mood better, and if it can make my, I'm almost to say my life better, but yeah, that's the reason why there hasn't been any episodes lately. So I'm sorry for that, but I hope that you can still enjoy this one. And it's not like I'm dying or anything, it's just shit happens and then you have to figure it out and then you move on. And I'm still in the figure it out phase of this one. But yeah, over here I started making a residential area. I will expand that one quite heavily and see if it will be a blooming area, or if we are in the way of the smog and the pollution from the industry on the other side of the highway. And also in the area coming off of the highway, I wanted to make some not high density residential area, but the medium one, just so that it's not an empty area where you're coming into the city, and I didn't want to have a lot of commercial and offices there. So as this signature building unlocked the old factory buildings, I felt like it was the perfect signature building to have in this area, because it is actually where the factories used to be. So this is quite the funny one. I think that it popped up now because I can place it down, and it might be that this is one of the old factories that were standing when this area started becoming something else, and that it's now been transformed into apartment buildings. And you might also wonder why I didn't just clear out the industry and then start building new industry and try to cover the need of the industry by just looking at the demand. And that is The reason why I didn't want to do that is because I didn't want to fill out too much and I didn't want to fill out too little. So I'm kind of looking at the demand and closing down some factories on the old industrial area and then opening up some new ones on the other side and trying to just make the demand being zero. There shouldn't be a demand, but there shouldn't also be too many places where I have placed down industrial zoning. And also why placing down the industrial, trying to maintain some of the like the parking lots. Here I placed down the indoor parking house, just to make sure that the cars can park in the area where there now will be many factories. But I wouldn't recommend doing this kind of building because it is a struggle to get the placement nice after having such a large industry patch being removed or being placed another place. And you might also wonder why I just delete all the office or the industrial buildings. That's because I don't, because they will eventually be deleted. But I just wanted to just get them out of the way, and I tend to do that. I just demolish them, demolish. Yeah, it's I do that. But yeah, I said I would make some large expansions also to the game today, and I skipped the part where I lay down the grid roads because this is going to be a griddy area. And I also skipped the part where I placed down a lot of the blobs, the green blobs. If you have seen before, you know me and the green blobs. I can't let the population take control. I have to have control over how big the houses they build are being built. So yeah, I skipped some of that, and I actually managed to make the demand for lower density residential buildings disappear. So that kind of messed up my plan with the large expansion. But placing down a few of the commercial demand is quite high, so placing down a few of them, and also making sure that the new residential area has some of the services like the schools. Placing down a high school and elementary school in that area, making sure that they are content and happy and have some of the services they need close by. That actually made the need for or the demand for the lower density residential buildings pop up again. So that was quite good because that meant that I can continue with the large expansion or and also the large rise in my population because we are now reaching 26,000 people living in the city. And I watched through my old save games, and I once had a city with 33,000 and once I had 74. And the 74 city, it was the one that crashed a lot on me when I at that stage did the change of where I had placed the industrial area. So I have done such a change before, but later on in the game, and that kind of just messed up. So hoping to reach 30,000 quite soon, just so that I have reached my new milestone, and also just trying to not go below or trying not to lose money. And right now we are in quite a good place regarding funds and money into the city. And also, whenever I get the demand for the medium residential houses and the commercial at the same time, I tend to place down the combined buildings in the area before you reach the new lower density residential area, just because I want that one also to be kind of it's not the high urban area, but it's the lower kind of messier urban area before you reach the quiet streets of the lower residential buildings. And here you can actually see why I don't like using the grid tool on the roads, because I can't have my houses being built at the size that the game allows it to. So I used it, and then I also had to go in and divide the grids that were already made by the grid tool. So I don't know if there is a possibility to make the grids smaller. Maybe there is, but I think I will just stick to making my own grids and deciding on my own how large the areas should be, because it didn't save me as much time as I wished it would have. And here I unlock the Figura building. It's a signature building, another one. This is the combined residential and commercial building. I don't think I ever have unlocked one of those. So that was quite fun, but I don't know where to put that one because it's not uh, in the style I want it to be where I'm building right now. So I guess I will have to wait for a while, maybe. And as the population is rising quite fast, there was a problem with the sewage. Yeah, the poopy water was not being handled as it should be. So I had to do some extensions to the sewer plant also. That is kind of just something that I'm not really finding it really funny to make sure that they have water and that the sewage is being transported out of the city or the houses in a correct way. So I tend to get those signs from time to time that I have to do it. So I'm quite glad that the signs are popping up, but yeah, it at least gets my focus back to the or on what I have to do with those. So right now there isn't a lot of warning signs in the city. I do not get a lot of the high rent warnings either. And I also decided on placing down the signature building, the Figura building, over in the urban area because I have some thoughts about how to extend that area, although I'm not quite there yet. I still wanted to place it down just because it was so nice that I also received that one, and I wanted to see how it would fit in that area. So quite happy about the placement that I found eventually on the map, and I'm hoping that that one isn't a building that will cost me a lot of issues, because sometimes I find that the signature buildings are kind of high maintenance buildings, I guess. So I'm hoping that it will just be happy there and people will be happy with the placement. And although this view might not be the prettiest one right now, I think the view over the city is getting somewhere. It's getting somewhere nice. But as I feared, the new residential area that I plopped down, it might seem that I placed that one too close to the industrial area, as I found one house being. They started complaining about the air pollution, and that is a sign for me that I placed the houses too close. But I will not delete many of the houses. I will try to just see if more houses is affected. I will have to do more with that situation, but for now I will just delete the few houses that are complaining. But yeah, I think I will end this episode here with this pollution situation. And I would like to thank you for watching. I'm sorry that my energy is so low. Life has thrown me some lemons, and I have to try and make lemonade. But right now, I just want to cry in the lemons. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching if you have watched through this episode. And I would like to say if you like this episode, please like, do subscribe, and comment below if you have anything you want to say to me. And I wish you all a good day and goodbye to you. Hope you're doing okay wherever you are. And I'll be back with more episodes of City Skylines 2.